Welcome everybody, welcome to the Bold Cafe podcast. This is episode 5. Now the Bold Cafe podcast I started as a way to get guys on the podcast that they can share their own experiences, share their experiences with bolding and going bold in an effort to help guys who are going through the same thing. And today it is my great pleasure to welcome Jared to the podcast. How's it going, Jared?
Yeah, can't complain, Harry. Thanks. How are you doing?
Fantastic. I'm fantastic. Thank you. So we've got Jared here on the podcast because Jared reached out to me via Instagram and he came across the Instagram page and he sent me a message. And Jared, can you remember what you said in the message? I think you just said something along the lines of, love the page, like what you're doing.
To be honest, I think it was the other way around. You actually reached out to me.
Oh, did I?
I made a comment on one of your posts. I think you had just sort of, I can't remember exactly, was guys, how do you feel about XYZ? And I commented, and then you popped me through a DM and said if I'd be keen.
Awesome. Yeah.
Surprised that there's sort of technology in South Africa. So I think that was the best thing.
Yeah.
There's actually people alive in South Africa.
yeah. No, it's awesome. And I love the accent. I have to put that in there. I do love the accent. But yeah, I think you commented on one of my pictures and I think it was just agreeing with a point, if you're worrying about your hair loss, just shave it off. And so I thought, fantastic. This is just the sort of person we need for the podcast because, like I said to you earlier, there's guys out there who they don't feel comfortable talking about it, as a lot of people do. A lot of guys do. They don't feel comfortable. So to see other guys talking about it, especially in the place where we're at now, where it's just not even an issue anymore. If I'd have thought, when I first found out I was going bold, if I'd have thought, oh, there'll be a time when I wouldn't even care about it, I would be amazed. And so I think what we're doing is fantastic. And if you're ready, we'll get straight into your story.
Yeah, sure. Let's go.
Awesome. So let's go way back. Okay, let's go back to when you first noticed that you were going bold. Sort of, how old were you? And yeah, just tell me a bit more about that time.
Sure. So I pretty much noticed at about the age of 25. That's when I outright noticed, okay, there's some thinning going on, especially on the top here. When I was 19, 20, I really sort of, I could see that my hairline was receding at the top, but, in that direction. But I sort of, let's call it, got away with it because I just used to keep my hair quite short and it looked almost like a V hairline at the time. So it wasn't noticeable. I still had a lot of hair, so it wasn't something noticeable where people would say anything. But I did life saving for years, surf life saving. And then I noticed my hair was longer during those years from about 24 to 25, as I said. And then I could see when my hair was longer and it was wet, you could see that it was thinning at the top, and people would sort of start commenting and saying, oh, I see you thinning. Oh. And the funniest thing was, I actually remembered, I used to finish duties at the beach, and then I used to go, geez, why is my head sunburnt over here?
Yeah.
And in the front, it was sunburnt because it was thinning, and it would go almost like red. So I sort of noticed then, and I thought, okay, well, here we go. It's sort of the expiry date. It's reaching the expiry date now.
Yeah. So you were quite young as well. You said first started going at the front then with the receding hair at the sort of front when you were 19, 20, and then when you were 24, 25, people started to comment. Can you remember any of the comments at all, or?
It was never really nasty. It was just like, geez, hey, you're losing your hair. Sure, you're thinning. You're going bald.
Yeah.
It was those sort of comments. But it was mainly sort of around my mates. So it wasn't really strangers. I think my family used to throw in one or two comments. Well, especially my dad, because I've got. I didn't really have a hope in hell, so to speak, on both sides of the family, on my dad's side and my mom's side. There is balding. So I think if I'd spoken to my dad, his dad was bald. as well. My dad, from what I understand, was losing his hair in his mid-30s. And on my mom's side, my grandfather was bald as well. And then my uncle, my mom's brother, I think he lost his hair or started losing his hair early 20s. Right. So I think I took that side of the family almost.
Yeah, so it's all sort of all in the family, similar to me. My family's on, the guys on both sides, both going bald. So that's an interesting point. So before sort of 19, when you were younger, obviously, I imagine your dad would have already been bald when you were sort of, I don't know, in your teenage years. Did you ever worry? Sure. Did you ever worry and think like, oh, my dad's bald or my granddad's bald? Like, am I going to go bald? Did you ever worry about it or not really?
Not really. I think because, I'd seen my father having bald hair and, I knew it was going to happen. But I think, my dad was quite a confident guy. So the least of his worries was not having hair. So it was never a hang-up for him.
Yeah.
I never saw him trying to cover up his hair or anything. In the most recent years, probably the last sort of 5 years or so, he started now shaving it. But he had the typical tufts on the side.
Yeah. I call it the horseshoe. Yeah. Anyway. Same as my dad. Yeah, I call it the horseshoe look. Yeah. Well, I think that's actually a really interesting point, and maybe we'll come back to that. The fact that your dad is a sort of role model, and similar to me, like I never once heard my dad say anything about like, oh, I wish I had hair, or he never even mentioned the fact that he was bald, which is interesting. That could be an important factor in getting to where we are today. But if we just go back to when you first found out you're going bald, how did you feel? Were you worried about it, or when people made comments, did you try to cover it up or anything like that?
I think so. When the sort of recession started, I could almost get away with it, let's call it, because as I said, I had still quite thick hair. When it started thinning, then what I know, like obviously preparing for this podcast, like it gave me a lot of thought, going back. And I remember sort of, having my hair longer, but I didn't grow my hair longer to cover it up. I just went through it of just growing my hair longer.
Yeah.
But I remember when people started saying, oh, you're thinning, etc., I would sort of move my hair to the side or like fiddle with it, or consciously try and go like, especially if the wind was blowing, I would then sort of like try and mess it up, so to try and fill it in. So I did become a little bit more conscious. Okay, definitely something happening here. Let me just sort of, comb the hair to the side a bit or try and sort of cover it up. So I did become a little bit more fidgety and a little bit more conscious about it for sure.
Yeah, so just being more makes you more sort of self-aware. And I remember doing the same thing actually. I would constantly sort of touch it and just sort of spread it around and try to give it an even coverage on where I was losing the hair. Interesting. And so what about apart from being aware of it more, did you ever feel sort of self-conscious? I know you're married. Were you with your wife back then, or were you dating, or how was that?
Yeah, I think that's how maybe it's a good woman, because she's been with you right from the hair to the hairless phase, I guess.
Yeah.
We met when I was about 19, so I had still a lot of hair. And to be fair, I never felt self-conscious. I would say my girlfriend back then never made comments or anything.
Yeah.
In fact, she liked. I shaved my hair anyway when I had hair at the time, or when I had a lot more. I shaved it on about a 1 or a 2, and she liked it a lot.
Oh yeah.
So in terms of sort of feeling, definitely, it's what you project. So most of the time, people actually aren't looking. People are concerned about their own things in life. They've got their own hang-ups, their own worries. I guarantee you a lot of people probably weren't looking at me going, oh my word, look at Jared's hair. The guy's got bald, he's thinning. Yeah. Maybe, yes, there were 1 or 2 comments, but I guarantee you people who were in my life didn't wake up in the morning, wake up and say, geez, okay, let me see how Jared's hair looks today, how his hair progress is. Like, people have got their own things in life that they're worried about.
Yeah.
The last thing on their mind, I'm sure, was the amount of follicles I had in my hair.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, definitely. That's a really interesting point. Like it's so easy to get wound up because you're so conscious about it. You think, oh, everyone else must be worrying about my hair or conscious about it. And you kind of forget the fact that, like you said, the person that you think's worrying about your hair is thinking, oh, does that person think I'm fat? Or, oh, does that person think I'm ugly? Or I'm too short, It's it's a really good point. And the problem is it's so hard to have that point of view when you're dealing with the issue. Do you know what I mean? When it's a big issue for you, it's so hard for you to think like that. You really are just worried about it all. But once you get over that sort of barrier, it all becomes clear. And like you said, you realize, people aren't like you said, good analogy there, waking up worrying about your hair. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I guarantee you as well, the people who will pick on you or comment on your hair probably are worried about it themselves.
Yeah.
So I can't that far back to maybe you commented, but I mean, maybe if there's guys listening and they're going through it at the moment, but the people that comment usually are worried about it themselves. So I guarantee it's probably another guy who's worried about losing his hair. He's consciously in his mind thinking, my hair, let me look at other guys' hair and see how they're doing, with their hair journey. So
true.
Yeah. We've got our hang up. So
that's so true. Like, you guys, negative comments, definitely they 100% come from a place of weakness, like you said. And, if it's not them worrying about their hair, they're worrying about something else. And that's a really good point, actually. If they're worried about their own hair, they want other people to be worried about theirs. So maybe they might make a comment to try and bring you down to their level of, anxiety or worry. Yeah, that's an important point to remember. But I think it's also important to say that, I don't know about your experience, you said, friends commented, but never anything nasty. And it's been the exact same for me. If people perceive you, like you said, confidence, if you're not worried about it, people see that and they don't try to attack that insecurity because they realize that for you it's not an issue, and so I don't know, did you ever get any negative comments from strangers when you were out or anything like that?
No, I never. I must be honest. Like my close mates were never. We were a typical bunch of guys that would have a go at each other with banter and everything, but it was never like nasty. And there's no moments I can think of people laughing at me or strangers making comments. I mean, maybe they would have, but I think I'm lucky. I'm not the type of person who lets those things bother him.
Yeah.
If they did, I probably would have said, "Yeah, I am."
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah.
You got a big nose.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. You just accept it. You say, that's me. I'm losing my hair. And there's no sort of ammunition for them to go off. Yeah, good point. And I've been on a few hair forums recently, right? And I've seen comments on my videos and things like that. And it really surprises me how much of a big worry it is for guys that say, I can't get a good woman with no hair, right? And I just, this wasn't a planned question, but I'd be interested to hear your take on this. To a guy who's saying, no woman is going to take me seriously or no woman's going to find me attractive with no hair. And my reply is, if you're dating or interacting with the type of woman who's so concerned about your hair, then you're obviously trying to go for the wrong type of woman. Have you got any advice to those guys, or what's your take on that? Guys who are so concerned that hair is the biggest factor that's going to not allow them to get a girlfriend. And I think it's ridiculous,
As well, I think a lot of it comes down to confidence. Look, let's be honest. We live in a very superficial world, so I guarantee there are women out there who want a guy with a full head of hair. We all have our likes. We all have our things that we prefer. So that's reality. And I think once guys accept that as well and say, yes, there are women out there who prefer a guy with hair, that's cool. But I guarantee you there's a million women out there who don't actually care, who actually like a guy with no hair. Again, coming back to confidence, from what I understand, if you are losing your hair and you're trying to cover it up, or you wear a cap all the time, women will pick up on that, and they'll pick up that you are insecure. So for me, it's always been rather just shave your head, because you're showing you're confident about your hang-ups, I guess. You're losing your hair, and I think women would actually prefer that. Okay, here's a guy, he's losing his hair, but he doesn't care about it. He's confident enough to wear it as almost like a badge of honor.
Yeah.
So to any guys out there who are worried or losing their hair, thinking they're not going to get women, certain women won't like it, but I can guarantee you a lot of women will, because they're going to pick up on your confidence. And I mean, if you're a semi-decent looking guy, I mean, I don't know what decent in today's world is, because the world paints a picture of what people must look like. But the average person on the street, or the woman on the street, if you're a decent guy, decent human being, I guarantee you got a foot in the door already. The last thing she's going to worry about is the hair on your head.
Yeah.
So as long as you're a gentleman, you're a decent guy, and I can tell you now, hair is the last thing on a woman's mind. I wouldn't worry about it. Rather just the whole sort of point of your channel, the message of your channel is rather just be who you are. So shave your head off, or not shave your head off, shave your hair off, and just go for it. I guarantee you there's women out there who like it.
Yeah, you literally nailed it there. You made such a good point about, it's almost as if a guy has to go through the sort of the angst and the turmoil of losing your hair, the challenge in effect. But it's almost like an opportunity for you to show women or show people that you can take that adversity, and deal with it confidently and effectively. And that is, that's the point of all of this. It's an opportunity for you to show people, I can take this negative thing and deal with it, constructively. I can deal with it effectively. And that's such an opportunity. People then will see how you've dealt with it, and that's what they're focused on. But if in the reverse of that, if you're, always so concerned about your hair, and you're trying to cover it up, and you're looking down at the floor because you don't want anyone to see you with the bald spots, and you're embarrassed about it, that's what people are picking up on, not, he doesn't have any hair.
And fast.
Yeah. It's 100%.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love what you said there.
I mean, for guys, I mean, I must be honest, we actually love that we can shave our hair off, and carry on in life. I mean, can you imagine how devastating it must be for a woman if she loses her hair,
Yeah.
So once again, as a guy, look in the mirror and go, there's a lot of male celebrities out there, and people who have sort of, taken this on and taken balding head on and made it quite mainstream, where I think, if you're out there looking for a woman, don't worry. She's probably she's got 10 more hang-ups than you about your hair going out.
Yeah.
So,
I've said it before, like you said there, if losing your hair as a man is the worst problem that you've been dealt with, if it's the worst thing that you are having to overcome, then you're damn lucky in reality. That's the reality of it, in terms of all the problems that you could have. If losing your hair is the biggest one, then you should count yourself lucky, really.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
Awesome. Well, Jared, let's get back to your story, and let's go to sort of today and now. You've obviously taken it upon yourself to just, get rid of the receding hair, shave it off. I want you to kind of elaborate on what got you to that point. First of all, what got you to the point where you said enough's enough?
I think it was just the comments started getting more of, your hair's thinning, you're losing your hair. And eventually I thought to myself, geez, I am actually losing my hair. I mean, it started getting very thin, and I couldn't do a good hair on my head, to be honest. I've never... thinking back, I've never had a very good relationship with my hair. I had all these hairstyles, and hair was just weird. I hit puberty, and my hair just went like wavy, and it would never do what I wanted it to do. So the hairstyles that I was doing, let's call it towards the end, weren't really working. I mean, I would keep it always towards the end where it was really getting a lot thinner. I kept it short.
Yeah.
But even then, it gets very windy in Cape Town, South Africa. So the wind blows and blows. And I was just constantly doing this. And I thought to myself, I really am over it. So I remember December 2015, I came home from work. I was just about to go on my annual leave. And I went into my room and I just took the shaver and just shaved it off. And I didn't tell anyone I was going to do it. I just did it. I was still staying at home with my parents, and they loved it immediately.
Oh, yeah.
And then later on, I was going with some mates and my girlfriend. She was my girlfriend at the time. She's now my wife, lucky me. We were going to cricket, and all my mates saw it, and they were like, "Sure, cool. That actually suits you."
Oh, nice.
So, but to be honest, Harry, if they had said to me, I would have gone, "Well, this is me now."
Yeah.
Sorry, deal. I'm going to have a bald head. So, yeah, that's
awesome.
That's pretty much what I did, and I've never looked back.
Never look back. Yeah.
Honestly, the best decision. I mean, I'm in and out of the shower in the morning quick. Don't have to shampoo my hair, condition it, do my hair in the morning. I mean, I'm in and out. It's awesome. I'm probably in the shower for, I'm not lying, about maybe a minute or two.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got water restrictions in South Africa, water problems. So we have to shower less than 3 minutes anyway.
Right.
So that helps as well. I feel like I'm doing well.
Definitely, yeah. You're helping
the environment.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much what I went and did. I thought, screw it, stuff it, I'm over it. Let's just shave it.
And so, did you already have the clippers for the beard? Is that you just already had them laying around?
No. So it was a normal sort of head shaver, I guess.
You already had
what
it.
What I do now is, from years ago.
Yeah.
We sort of had an electric one, so I just used that. The beard, no, I would always sort of just kept I think back then I was shaving it clean, and then letting it grow for a few days, and then shaving it again.
Okay. Yeah.
Doing in the beginning. What I invested in recently, and it was very, I don't want to name drop now, but it's a vol shaver. It's a beard shaver. What I started doing occasionally was going to the barbers, and then the barbers would do my beard for me. They would shave my head, and I noticed they used the beard shaver on my head.
Okay.
And it got a closer shave than using the electric one that I had, which was just a blade anyway, the Zero.
Yeah.
But this got a much closer shave, and I liked it. So every time I would go and ask, and then it started getting quite pricey going there once a week and having to do my beard. So I went online, and I just bought this Val shaver. So I don't want to name drop. But if you're looking for a sponsor,
that's awesome.
Sponsor someone, brand ambassador, I'm here.
That's awesome.
But no, in all seriousness, so this is what I use now. I use this on my head, and I do the beard with this. It's cordless, it's quick and easy, it's rechargeable.
And
it's so much easier.
How often do you take the hair off on the head? How often do you shave it at the moment?
Probably it was once a week, but now I do it every 2 to 3 days because it's so easy.
Yeah.
Being cordless, it's just so much easier. And I hate seeing sort of patches of hair coming up. As soon as I see it, I'm in the bathroom or outside on the balcony, and it's shave it off. Yeah, same as me.
I'm
actually I'm considering maybe going the blade route like you do.
Yeah.
Maybe towards the end of the year, I'm going to give that a bash. So I'll watch some of your videos. I see you've got their tips on how to shave with a blade and all that. So I'll give that a watch.
Yeah, give it a try. The reason why I go with the wet shave with the razor is just because again, I do it sort of every 2, maximum 3 days. And for me, I just found that I can do it really quick, get it an even shave, and it stays sort of cleaner for longer, if you know what I mean. If you go down to the sort of 0, after those 2 or 3 days, like you say, you start to see bits of hair come through, and I can really see sort of where I'm going bald, and that does, you know, it still makes me uncomfortable to see that. But when I've got it clean shaven, or even after 2 days, it's not an issue, you know, because it's just a bald head pretty much, you know. That's why I do it. But yeah, give it a try and see how you get on. And the razor that you've got there, I'll put a link in the description box. I'll get that off you. So if anyone wants to buy that one,
cool.
The Jared's recommended razor, I'll put that in the description. Awesome. Thanks for that.
Cool.
What I want to do is just talk about these treatments, right? So, you know, I've made videos about Propecia and minoxidil and hair systems, hair transplants, right? There's so many, well, it seems like there's so many options, you know, and people label them as cures, but we both know that it's not a cure. It's just a sort of cover-up solution.
That term.
Yeah, and
Cure for baldness, I hate it.
And so, what's your take on those? Did you ever look into any of them? Have you ever considered any of them? What's your take on those sorts of things?
Yeah, look, off the bat, I don't have a problem with anyone who looks into sort of those treatments. I know three guys who are currently doing it, who are doing some sort of laser sort of treatment with a pill or something. They've actually asked me my opinion on it, and I've said, if it makes you feel good, do it. You know, women go for breast augmentation, they have fillers done, and no one really judges them for it. You know, I don't have a problem with that either. If it makes a woman feel good doing those things, at the end of the day, that's what's important. And it's the same thing for guys losing their hair.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to go for the hair transplant or the laser or the pill, or some sort of pill or lotion to try and, you know, delay the balding curve. You know, it's about whatever makes you feel good about yourself. So just off the bat, that's sort of my opinion on it. I did, you know, when it started happening, I did, you know, hit the Google, as most people would do, and see what's out there. But I looked at it, and this is such a, you know, it means I've got to get out of my day, and I've got to go spend some hour in a clinic with this alien thing on my head. Yeah. And the costs, you know, it's just stupid. So for me, it never made sense, because I lead quite a busy life already. And to throw that in would wouldn't make sense. And it's quite expensive. Hair treatments are quite expensive here in South Africa. Yeah. I did try like a shampoo, conditioner.
Okay, yeah. Caffeine shampoo.
I think it was a 3-part. I don't know the caffeine, but it was a shampoo, conditioner, and you had to put like this lotion on. Right. And you had to like rub it in your hair after the shower, and it was such a hassle as well. And it didn't work. It made no difference. Yeah. So I would have to have bought more, and I was just like, no, this just doesn't make sense. This is quite silly for me. So I definitely did my research, and I did ask my doctor about it. I think once I went for the flu or something, and I just brought it up. I'd seen him because I had the flu, and I just brought it up in conversation. And he said, there's like Rogaine or Propecia, but you only start seeing results after like 9 months or something. And he just said to me, Jared, in all honesty, rather don't. Just leave it. Just accept it. That was coming from my doctor. So, but I think about 90% I'd made up my mind that I wasn't going to do anything, but it was worth researching. So,
yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, it's like you made a good point there, and I've talked about that a few times before. You know, at the end of the day, whatever you need to do to be happy and to get over it, you know, that's fine. I think the reason why I push this whole, you know, just shave your hair, just get on with it. The reason why I talk about that so much is because there's, you know, with all these hair transplant companies and stuff, you know, they've got big bucks and all the advertisements. If you see the advertising that they do, you know, really what they're doing is they're just playing on people's insecurities, you know, that if a guy is so down in the dumps and they see this picture of this guy who's losing his hair and he's all sad and his life's over, and then, oh, just next to it, there's a picture of this guy with a full head of hair and everything's amazing for that guy. I just think that those sort of tactics to sort of prey and pick at people's insecurities is just not, it's just not kosher, as they say, you know, it's just not the done thing. And I think these people are vulnerable in that position, and that's why so many people go for it. The thing I want to do with Bold Cafe is, you know, just show people that there is another avenue, you know, there is another way that this can be done, and just let people entertain the idea of doing it, you know, of just, oh, I can just shave my head, I can be bold and happy and get on with my life, you know?
Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah. Definitely.
But, yeah. Well, listen, let's, you shave your head now and everything's all good. Let's wrap things up, Jared, with, you know, your last sort of piece of advice for guys. You know, maybe they've just found out that they're losing their hair, or maybe they're doing the research, you know, that you once did and that I did. You know, they're on Google, they're looking for solutions. If you could sort of sum it up, your best piece of advice for these guys, you know, what are some of the things you might say to them?
I would say to the guys that are maybe considering it or worrying, you know, just take a look in the mirror, you know, and hopefully you do, because this is one of the things I did. You know, you know, I'm very lucky. I've got 2 legs, I've got 2 arms, I can speak relatively well, I hope, and you know, there's a lot of blessings and a lot of pluses in your life. Hair is really the last thing you should worry about. You know, most people have life pretty good. You can just get onto Facebook and Instagram and see, you know, what's going on around the world. And worrying about your hair is the last thing. You know, there's cancer patients out there that don't have their hair, but they wish they would have the life you had, you know. So over the years I played, and I still do, I play a lot of sport, and I've had my injuries. I've done my ankle in, I've done my knee in, and you sit there and you feel, you know, and you go, oh, geez, like, I wish I could just walk properly, or I'm putting on weight because I can't get to the gym because I've got to try and recover. But there's a guy in a wheelchair, you know, and he's looking at you saying, geez, like, I wish it would just been an operation for me, you know, or a guy missing an arm going, wow, I wish it was just my shoulder being, repaired. So really just weigh up in your life what you have, and I guarantee you there's a lot you have in your life compared to a lot of people. And as well, we live in a world where, unfortunately, society and especially the media has painted what the perfect guy must look like. But, you know, it's awesome. Like, guys like The Rock, Bruce Willis, Stone Cold Steve Austin. I mean, these are all guys who have, I'm sure none of them have, they've probably considered hair options, but they're all bold, they're happy, they've had awesome careers. I mean, look at them. It's just about being confident. They're all in shape. I mean, look at a guy like Jason Statham, you know, he's one of my sort of, guys that I really look up to, you know. So yeah, he's a confident guy. I mean, he's in shape. I mean, that's the important thing. As well, I would say the advice is try and stay in shape, because that's also very important. I'm not saying I'm the most in shape guy around, but I'm definitely not overweight. And I think that's the most important thing of all these bold celebrities. They're all in shape. They're all, I would assume, healthy, but they're well presented. They dress well. They neat, and they don't look scruffy. So try and take that on, you know, be active. When you're active and you lose weight and you're in shape, you feel good about yourself. So if you've got a great body, getting back to women as well, I mean, if you've got a great body and you're in shape and you're confident about your body, I mean, women will pick up on that as well. So that's my advice, really. Just eat healthy, exercise, and have a healthy mind in terms of, you know what, there's someone worse off than you, and here's the last thing you should be worried about.
Yeah, so true, Jared. You wrapped that up fantastic. That's fantastic advice. Jared, I want to just thank you again for sharing your story today. I really think this just helps so much just to hear, you know, two guys, you know, talking about their experience, telling how it really is, you know, and how we're in this sort of the place where we are at today. Thank you so much. As always, guys, you can follow Bowl Cafe on the YouTube channel. We got the Instagram, we got the website. Make sure you're following on Instagram because we're almost at 1,000 followers. And then we're going to release the ebook where I pretty much wrap up all this advice in a 100% free ebook. You know, that could be really useful for getting you to the place where you want to be. Jared, thanks again. We'll keep talking and we'll stay in touch.
Cool. I got one more thing to say. To all the ball guys out there, I'm not sure who said this, but God made a few perfect heads, and on the rest He put hair. Just remember that.
Awesome. Well done, Jared. Nice one, man.
Cool.
And to everyone listening, I will see you soon. Goodbye.
Thanks, Harry.
Cheers, man.
Cheers.